It's a reasonably significant match this weekend.
Oh yeah, it's in the scheme of things, in terms of what's on the end of the line, it's a hugely important game. So, it's a great position for our players to be in, to potentially be the match of the round and to have that focus on us. So, we welcome the pressure, we welcome the what's at stake, and we'll get out and perform against a side that'll be just as hungry as we are.
I think you were visibly frustrated, after the last time you played them. You couldn't quite get through them, and they basically shut down in the last quarter. And I suppose you had plenty of chances, but couldn't get over the line. Are you confident you can, rectify if a similar situation happens?
Oh yeah, I think we'll get it. It's about creating the opportunities to kick a winning score, and I think we've shown that we're capable of doing that. And the things we've been working really hard on our efficiency going forward, and that was pretty poor last time. And I also recognise that St Kilda are the type of side that they don't allow you to move the ball too efficiently inside your forward line. So we're going to have to be at our very best in terms of our run and ability to distribute the ball inside our forward 50 to be effective against them. So that's a great challenge for us, and I think we've really improved over the last 18 months or so. So I think this will be a really good test for where we're at.
So do you have to change much from last time, or given you almost had him on the ropes in that last quarter, it's just a bit of tweaking? Yeah,
I think so. We just didn't adapt. I mean, at that stage, Drew Petrie was such a dominant player in the competition that the guys, got so focused in on Drew and wanted to kick it to him at every opportunity. But we've got other really good forward options at the moment. So we've been really working hard on that versatility, and I think that Drew's still going to be a super important part of our team on Saturday night. But we've got to have other options up there, that's for sure.
If you get across the line in such an important game, will it be a sign of sort of the team's maturity or coming of age? But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it'll be a sign that we're on the right track. I think that we've still got a long way to go in terms of competing with the very best on a consistent basis. So, but we haven't taken the short road to try and get there. We've been really diligent in terms of preparing our team to be able to be a finals contender. Now we're not there yet. We may, if our performances over the next couple of weeks hold up and a few other results go our way, well, I think we'll probably have deserved to get there. So that's really important. I'm glad that we've got really good opposition this week in St Kilda, which will test where we're at, and then if we're good enough, then we'll look at round 24 and beyond. But we've always said that we're not going to take any shortcuts to trying to get to the finals. We've got to play the sort of footy that's going to make us a worthy contender come September.
Do you agree with you need a scalp to sort of, I don't know, show your bona fides in a way?
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's for any side that is a finals aspirant, then you've got to be able to beat good sides. But I mean, when you're 9th, 10th, 11th on the ladder, generally the top 4 beat you. Otherwise you wouldn't be where you are on the ladder. So, the people who say that are exactly right in what they say. But it's pretty obvious, I would have thought.
Fred, how much did you change the structure from last week against St Kilda?
No, not too much, I wouldn't have thought. We've got some other players available. I mean, one of the strengths of our club right at the moment is our player availability. We're up around 95% of our list is available for selection. So that's a really good position to be in. And we're going to have some really tough decisions when we sit down at match committee, because Hamish McIntosh is now available for selection. I consider him available for selection in terms of form and fitness. So we're going to have to really weigh that up strongly, and I'll be watching him really closely at training this afternoon.
That's going to be the next question. Do you want to get him to the line for his 100th, or is that do you take the emotion out of it?
No, that certainly will not be a consideration in any way, shape or form. That's an individual milestone. It'll be a terrific milestone for Hamish when he achieves it, but that'll never be put before never be put before what's best for the team.
Just going back to getting a scalp, even though you didn't beat Carlton and Hawthorn before the bye, the fact you pushed them all the way, was it a little turning point in terms of the belief of this group?
Yeah, I suppose in terms of absolute result it was. I mean, we thought we could have, we had a chance to win both of those games. So, we think we can compete with them. But, we're still making a lot of fundamental errors in those games as well. So, we've got a lot of improvement to make. But I think that we're certainly bridging the gap. And one thing I am sure of is that once we are able to regularly compete against those good sides, it'll be on the back of a lot of hard work, and the foundation will have been set. So it's not just about rolling the dice against the good sides and hoping it comes off. I think once we get there, we'll be able to do it on a pretty consistent basis.
How significant was it you didn't fall away after the game against Collingwood? Did that mean something?
Yeah, well, yeah, it means something, but it's got, to be honest, nothing to do with me really. It's got to do with the legacy that North Melbourne people have left for me. This club has an unbelievable tradition and culture, and that is a given when you play for this football club, that you respond in that fashion. So I can't take the credit for that. The coaches and the staff members that have gone before me should take the credit for that.
If you went with Hamish, could you use him in other ways other than the obvious?
Oh, well, he's an accomplished forward, so he showed that in his limited time at forward last week in the VFL. He can go forward and kick goals, and he's a big man. He's 204 centimetres and very strong. So we think that'll be a real weapon for us. It's just a matter of deciding what's best for our team structure this week. But in the future, having two top line ruckmen is a huge advantage.
Well, you obviously, they played, spent a bit of time together last year when Tom was, I suppose, really emerging.
Yep.
Hamish was still the dominant ruckman then, so how do you have to break it to him that maybe he hasn't got the number one position? It's like what do you say to him? How do you deal with it?
Well, we don't really rank them. If they're playing in the same side, they play the role that's best for the opposition we play that week. So we think Goldie is a really flexible player. He's got elite endurance. He's got great agility. So we think he can play key position for us as well at either end of the ground. So it's just a matter of the opposition ruck strengths and how we think we can use them best. But I know it's a weapon for us. And look, the worst case scenario is that we have one of those players injured, as Hamish has been all year. Now, if something happened to Goldie, we've got Hamish ready to step in, and he can carry the ruck load on his own as well. So in terms of our list, people tend to look at what they think is your best side and say, can you fit these guys in? Whereas we look at it as we've got 46 players on our list. Now we've got great depth, and if we have an injury, we can cover it.
Brady, just on Brady Rawlings, pretty selfless sort of decision.
Yeah, and shouldn't surprise anyone that that's the case. He's been a remarkable player for us for a long period of time, and epitomises what this club's about. Very, very capable, but very, very humble at the same time. And he asked me to tell him when I thought his time was up, and in the end I didn't have to say anything, because he was the first to come in and say, I think a young player should come in and we should start grooming a young defender to take my spot. So he's the ultimate team player, and he sets a great example for every other player at this club, and he'll go down as a legend of North Melbourne, probably held or certainly held in much higher regard internally than he ever will be externally.
Have you ever seen that in your days at footy, a player retiring like that ahead of his time? Ozzie Jones did it, but that's about the only one I can think of.
I think Michael Voss could have played a couple of years when he retired, only at 31, even though he's pretty bruised and battered. He could have easily gone down and played forward for a couple of years, but I think Vossi made the same decision. He thought it was time for a new era at Brisbane and stepped aside. Now, Brady's. I think Brady could play on next year without doubt. He's in a lot of ways he's our assistant defensive coach. He coaches our players out in the ground. He coaches them at training. But the great thing is we won't lose him, because he'll be a full-time staff member here next year in recruiting and development, and he's going to continue to be a great asset for this club.
Brett, to keep a winning score against St Kilda, where does that sit in the tough task of footy? Are they one of the toughest to?
Yeah, well, they are. And the stats suggest that too. They've played in the last 3 grand finals for a reason. They're a terrific defensive side, and I don't expect them to change anything in that regard. I think largely their defensive capabilities are getting back to where they were in 2009, 2010. Really, an elite defensive team. But that's a great challenge for us, because I think we've got pretty good firepower up forward, and our midfield's really matured. So, it's going to be a great opportunity for us, and it'll be a Dow struggle. There's no doubt about that. We're not expecting to have it all our own way, but we look forward to that Dow struggle.
Scott Thompson, report today that negotiations have broken down. Obviously a required player.
That's news to me. I mean, I'm not in charge of contracts and negotiations. I coach the side, but he's certainly a required player. Just sounds like management posturing to me.
Beautiful.
Okay.